The company was last seen in London in the Donmar Warehouse production in 1995, and then it went into the West End in '96 at what is now the Noel Coward Theatre. When it first appeared in 1970 on Broadway, it caused sort of shockwaves because it just wasn't like what most people thought musicals were like. It had a much more contemporary sound. There's electric guitar in there, but more importantly, it reminds me of that there was a very famous non-fiction book in 1962 called Sex and the Single Girl by Helen Gurley Brown of Cosmopolitan, and in a way, Company is, or always has been until now, about sex and the single man. It's a show about friendship, it's a show about commitment, and a show about marriage, and whether or not the central character, a man called Bobby, or Robert, or Barb, is going to marry because he is single and he's 35. This production is different. So, Marianne, can you explain why this show is different and why it's happening?
Yeah, I suppose I decided to set up my own theatre company with Chris Harper, who I've worked with a lot over the years. And one of the reasons for that was so that I could be in control of my own work and decide what I wanted to do. And I've always loved company, and Chris knew this, and he said to me, why don't you think about company? I had tried to do it before, actually, but I wasn't allowed. And he said, why don't you think about it with Bobby as a woman? And I thought, that's an absolutely stupid idea. Why would I do that? Just because I was looking for stories with female protagonists, particularly slightly older female protagonists, is something that I'm really, really interested in. And I thought, well, you're just saying that because you know I want to have female protagonists. It's just such an easy thing to say. People do that all the time. It's really boring. But then I listened to it really, really carefully, and I thought, actually, if I really scrutinised it, I thought, hang on, there's a way that I could do this. Because actually it is very much of its time, and that was the joy and the wonder and the glory of it. It really caught a moment. But nowadays, you know, if you have a 35-year-old man, he's clearly attractive, he's got 3 girlfriends, probably more. He's got lots of friends, he's clearly successful, he lives in New York, he probably lives in Manhattan, he's got a lovely apartment. These are the things that we know about him. But nowadays, who cares if he's married or not? I mean, good on him. If he wants to sleep around and have a lovely time. Nobody's particularly interested, that's fine. But actually, if you're a woman and you're 35 and you've got a really good job and you've got a great apartment, therefore you've got a very good job and you've got lots of friends and you've possibly got lots of male boyfriends, you're probably starting to think, hang on, the clock is ticking, and maybe if I am to settle down, I should do it quite soon. But not only that, all your friends will probably have an opinion about whether you should or not. So that's where it started, yeah. And
so, having nudged by Chris Harper, begun to realise, oh, this could work. Yeah. What was your next step?
So I just had to be really cautious because, as we know, Sondheim he treats his lyrics incredibly seriously, and I couldn't just go to him and go, hey, should we just change it gender? I had to really think about how would it work and how would the lyrics resonate and is it possible? And I wanted to set it now-ish because the music for me is pretty timeless, but it's not absolutely now, but I wanted to set it now-ish. And I thought, well, if I'm to do that, then some of the couples could possibly be rethought, because all of the couples in the original version, because of course it's of its time, the women are looking after the kids, the women are cooking, the men are a bit more sanguine, a bit more languid about the idea of being married. And I thought, actually, 2 of the couples, if I could swap the gender of 2 of the couples, everyone else is the same, then it really might work. And I worked it through really carefully, and then I went to see him about it. I went to his house to talk to him about it.
So he then
That'll get me in my someone's house. That's the house like. Oh, it's fabulous.
Which one?
The one in Manhattan next to where Catherine Hepburn is.
Stop it. Does he have gold plates? No.
No, it's got
Not
great
tacky.
stories about Catherine Hepburn.
Yeah, and the fireplace and the $600. Yeah.
So, Patty, so what? So I'm assuming that it's a fairly obvious question, forgive me, but what drew you to doing this? Because you have been singing this material for some time, and I believe you did the concert version in New York with the New York Phil. So why come back and do a full staging?
Marianne Elliott. Period.
That's a good answer.
I swore off musicals after Warpaint for no other reason than they're complicated and I'm tired of 8 shows a week. And I'm not tired of 8 shows a week, it's a lot of energy and I actually swore them off, and then Marianne called. And I had seen Warhorse at Lincoln Center Theater and Curious Incident here. And having seen Warhorse, I wanted to find out who the director was, and found out it was Duel. And then when I saw Curious Incident, found out it was the same director as part of Warhorse, and I went, I have to work with this woman. I have to find a way. And told my agents, and told anybody who would listen, I have to work with this woman. I swore off musicals, and then Marianne called, and it was, I can't, and I did say, no, no, no. Then I said to myself, if I say no to this woman, she'll never ask me again, and I don't want to risk that. And so I am here because I want to work with Marianne, and I'm here now because I want to work with Marianne, Rosalie, and Mel, and whoever else she casts, and be back in London.
Oh.
Because you have a significant London history, given that you got the Olivier Award for Les Mis and The Cradle Will Rock and lots of other things since. So clearly, this is a city you like working in.
I love working here. I love working here, and it's going to be very exciting because I have sung this material before, but I think I'm enough of a pliable actor that I can't wait to see the interpretation that Marianne molds for this character and the concept of the show. Because we all see what was the concept. I mean, we all know what that production was, that original production was. And I'm really anxious to get into the trenches and find out what happens.
And also, it's interesting because all three of you are not solely known for musicals. There are shelf loads of awards racked up by these 4 people. I'm not going to list them all. I'm sure they're all on a press release. But actually, I've seen or heard about all of you doing. Patty, you did lots of stuff with David Mamet, in which you certainly did not sing. Rosie's done done theatre work where she doesn't sing.
And then there's Mel.
And then there's Mel, who is currently about to open as small role (brackets leading character) Beatrice in Much Ado About Nothing at the Rose Theatre in Kingston, and they have let her off her first tech rehearsal to be here with everybody. So,
Right, thank you.
but presumably it's important to you, Marianne, that you've got actors as well as singers in the cast.
Yes, it is. I mean, I suppose I'm not well known for doing musicals either, apart from I did The Light Princess with Rosie. I think that's the only musical I've done, apart from when I was at Hull University, which is where David went. I did a really well-known, should I talk about it? Maybe not. Maybe I don't. I did a really well-known musical there about child abuse. So, that was fun.
Lots of tap routines.
But no, seriously, I mean, I don't really know how else to work unless it's to really work through character and really work through the acting. And for me, that's the finest art of what people like me do. That's the thing that we aim for most, isn't it? To get the best acting, and that's through song or through text.
And presumably, that's part of your attraction to this show is not to go ooh, at last I get to do a musical. That may be part of it, but there's also this is a really interesting role and a really interesting piece that happens to be a musical.
Also, I met up with Marianne and we were discussing the character that I'm going to play in Company, and she said, and she eats a brownie. The eyes lit up. I was was like, what, she gets to eat a brat on stage? That was it, I was sold. I said, yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense.
There's a baked item in the show, I'm there. Come on.
So having got an initial yes, go ahead and try it from Sondheim.
Yeah, he wasn't sure, I think. He was very kind and generous and allowed me to talk through my ideas very nervously. And then I said, well, look, let me just do a workshop. Let me just try it out. And, you know, you don't really lose out by that. And I will do the workshop and then I'll film it at the end and then you can watch the film. And he agreed to that. In fact, we were talking about doing another project, so at the time it was kind of, okay, yeah, why not try that? And so we did a workshop with Rosie, and we filmed it, and I sent it to him and I said, watch it with some women and watch it with some younger people around you and see what you will feel. And then he rang me and he seemed really, really excited. Yeah.
And as I'm Sondheim's biographer, so I am privy to certain bits of information. And he told me the story of, was it your sound engineer?
It's our cameraman.
Right.
Yes. So our cameraman was watching obviously the filmed through version. And at the end, I think he probably was in his 20s. Do you remember this, Rosie?
No.
No, maybe you don't know about this. He was in his 20s maybe, and he said to us at the end, oh, that was really good, yeah, well done, and when are you going to do it? And we talked about, well, we don't know whether we will do it, because we have to show it to Sondheim and see how he feels about it being a woman. And he went, what? He said, well, because originally it was written for a man, and he went, well, how would that work?
And I know that absolutely is what persuaded me.
That's great.
So, Rose, you had been in Jonathan Manley's production of Company at Sheffield, playing Marta, who is Marta, the one that sings Another 100 People.
Right.
And so this is material you know well.
I do.
So what was the experience of the workshop like for you?
It was just, it was quite nerve-wracking actually, because I suppose I knew that we only had a week and it was a heat wave and I was quite heavily pregnant at the time, so that was joyful as well. I was thinking, oh my God, he's going to watch it and I'm pregnant, is it going to be all right, and all that going through your head. But the glorious thing about it was we did have this week on the material, and every time we got to a song or a scene and we worked through it, and it was switched around for the couples, and then obviously the songs were being told from a female perspective. It was just gorgeous. It was like turning a little page and thinking, oh, it works. You know, every time, oh my God, okay, it's fine, this bit works, this bit works. And then we reached the end of the week and I thought, oh my God, if it doesn't happen, it's heartbreaking, really, because it was just such a phenomenal week, and I think everyone in the room felt that, and certainly it was one of those workshops of which I'm sure we all do many of, which aren't always successful, but it was one of those ones where you thought, I just hope that we get the opportunity to do this, because it felt really special in the room and it felt like there was something there, and also just to work with Marianne for another week, and just thought, oh yeah, she is really good, isn't she? Not that I've forgotten, but she's the best. So it was sort of pleasure pain really, because then we had to wait, yeah.
How long were you held in a holding pattern?
It felt like a while. I was at a fundraiser event for the National waiting to hear from you on my mobile phone underneath the table, like waiting for it to buzz, and it didn't. So, but then it did, because you know it sometimes has then.
Maybe it was. I know I didn't go.
I
I
was a
didn't
few
go.
months.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So, for you two, have you seen the workshop?
I haven't
So-
seen it.
No,
Oh, I did.
Hattie was watching it live in New York.
Yes, with Sondheim, yeah.
So you kind of know what you're in for, but you don't.
No, but I like that. I'm prepared to, go in there, slightly brown trousers, and just literally. No, I can't wait. I'm just very, very excited.
I just want to say, sitting here, Etienne always watching on the telly going,
love with you. Oh, there you are sitting. Honest to God.
Matey, listen.
No.
Listen.
You don't know.
You listen. No. Listen. It's going to be a loving for blooming 6 months.
That's it.
Or longer. We'll leak it out, yeah.
Sorry.
Self-interview.
I know, sorry, I've even chatted.
So first of all, awesome singing.
Oh, thanks, cheers.
At 11:15 in the ruddy morning. Who can do that?
There's no need for that normally,
I'm going to need a lot of tips. There's no need for I need to find the diaphragm. It's in the... Is it? Awaken the arms. And some people say the ribs.
Is that your best friend?
No.
What? For singing?
Expanding the ribs.
Just open mouth, see what comes out. That's it. Sorry. Hello.
The British public who love you, how did they react when you walk on that stage?
I hope there aren't going to be any baking-related heckles the moment I get on the stage. I hope people will allow for a certain, let up. That was rather serious, actually. It's quite serious then. Sorry, I took that seriously. No, I think we'll see how it goes. Actually, I think anything's possible these days.
You're known for being an actress now.
Oh, I don't know.
Do it all.
No, a couple no. We'll see. I just hope to be able to bring the necessary requisites to the show.
Obviously, there will be some men in the cast. We want to talk about them. How does it feel to be in such a female powerhouse at the moment? It's only going to grow. How does it feel?
Absolutely amazing, actually. So great. And I think it was Beverly Knight at the Olivier's the other night. Yeah, to be honest. And she said something like, "There is something blowing in the breeze." I love that. Yeah.
I feel like
Scared.
There is.
Something blowing in the breeze. There is. Tidal, change, breeze, nature, the moon. It's all about the moon.
Rosalie, how does it feel to almost take residence at the Guild? It's like you're just not leaving now.
I'm not
You're there.
It's really weird because I do stand backstage and I think, oh, blimey, what's it going to be like doing that?
Will you feel a bit weird that the same people aren't around that you're with now?
Initially, but
Weird.
also the backstage area won't look any different. So it'll be like, that's the same wallpaper, that's the same bit of writing on the wall. I don't know, do you know what?
What are the bogs like? Terrible. Terrible bogs. The West End has terrible bogs.
It was lovely to hear in the Q&A how you had put musical theatre, the musicals to the side for a little bit, and obviously this production you couldn't say no to. Why couldn't you say no to?
Because of Marianne, I wanted to work with Marianne, and she asked me to play Joanne in this, and I thought if I say no, she'll never ask me again. So I'm excited to be directed by her in this production, in this musical.
You've done plays and you've done musicals. Do you have particular things you prefer from being in a play to being in a musical?
Yeah, I prefer being in plays because I don't have to worry about my voice. You always have to worry about your voice in a musical. I mean, you wake up in the morning, is it okay? And they're just two tiny little muscles, and they'll tell you whether you're going on or not.
There was this production company like this before, changing roles, you're breaking down boundaries. How does it feel to be at the forefront of that? And I don't think it's ever been done before, really.
I suppose I think that theatre can be the most powerful thing you've ever experienced, and I find it emotionally what I call expensive to do. It drains you. You have to give everything to it. So why not do something that is ambitious? Why not try and change things? Why not be radical? Why not get out there? Because theatre is the medium that can talk to a whole community of people as a community and really affect change.
Being alive.